At a packed arena in Omaha, investors begged Charlie Munger for his secret. He just smirked and said that we are not trying to be smart. We are just trying not to be stupid. That is the real billionaire edge. Charlie Munger was not a TikTok money guru. He was Warren Buffett's right-hand man at Berkshire Hathaway, vice chairman of a company that turned boring businesses into hundreds of billions of dollars in value. He started as an Omaha kid working in a family store, went to war, clawed his way into Harvard Law, became a top lawyer, and then walked away from the safe path to become an investor and builder of businesses. But the real reason you should care is not just his net worth. It is that Charlie spent his entire life asking one question: why do smart people do such stupid things? His answer became a whole system of mental models collected in poor Charlie's Almanack and legendary talks. That system is the Billionaire operating manual we are about to borrow. Charlie's real secret was not a stock formula. It was how he thought. He believed you cannot win at life or money with just one tool. If all you have is hustle or hard work, you will still walk into traps you do not see. So he built what he called a latticework of mental models. Imagine a three-dimensional grid in your mind: psychology, math, economics, biology, history, engineering. Each one gives you a simple rule for how the world usually works. When a big decision shows up, Charlie does not just ask, "Does this look profitable?" He runs it through multiple models. What are the incentives here? What are the obvious ways this can fail? Is this inside my circle of competence? What does history say about similar situations? How might psychology be tricking me? Most people react with one emotion: greed, fear, envy. Billionaires like Munger use systems of thinking. They let the models argue with each other before they commit. And inside that latticework, there is one mental model he leaned on constantly: inversion, the art of avoiding stupidity. Charlie had a dark little joke he loved to repeat: "All I want to know is where I'm going to die, so I will never go there." It sounds funny, but it is actually a complete strategy for life and money. Most people ask, how do I win? How do I get rich? How do I build a great career? Charlie flips the question and asks, how do people lose? How do they stay poor? How do they destroy great careers? Then he simply refuses to do those things. That flip is called inversion. Instead of obsessing over the perfect plan, you remove the obviously stupid paths. If you want to be financially free, do not start with exotic investments. Start by not drowning in consumer debt, not chasing get-rich-quick schemes, not spending every raise you get. If you want a great career, do not start with my passion. Start by avoiding the obvious career killers: no skills, no reliability, no network, high ego, zero humility. If you want a strong relationship, do not start with grand romantic ideas. Start by not lying, not keeping score, not treating the other person as if they are replaceable. Munger's point is simple. You do not need to know every step to win. You just need to avoid the handful of dumb moves that take you out of the game entirely. Are you spending more energy chasing genius moves or quietly removing stupid ones? If inversion is the big idea, these are the tools Charlie used to apply it. Think of them as switches you can flip in your own life. First, know what you are actually good at. Charlie called it your circle of competence. Inside that circle, you really understand what is going on. Outside it, you are mostly guessing. Munger and Buffett made billions by saying, "I do not know" to most things. They stayed with businesses they understood deeply and they passed on everything else no matter how hot it looked. Your edge is not pretending to know everything. Your edge is saying, here is where I am strong, here is where I'm weak. I will bet big only inside that circle. Second, build a cushion into everything. Charlie assumed the world is messy and he would be wrong sometimes, so he wanted a margin of safety. In investing, that means you buy something so good or so cheap that even if you are a bit wrong, you do not die. In life, it is similar. Do not let one paycheck be your entire oxygen supply. Do not let one client be your entire business. Do not let one bad bet be able to wipe you out. You do not need perfection if you always give yourself room for error. Third, wait more. Charlie liked the idea of a punch card with only 20 lifetime decisions on it. Every time you make a big move, you punch a hole. When the card is full, you are done. If that were real, you would stop chasing every shiny thing. You would wait for opportunities that are obvious, inside your circle, with a big margin of safety. Most people ruin compounding by constantly fiddling. Munger's rule: act rarely, think a lot, and let time do most of the work. Fourth, respect your own brain's bugs. Charlie spent years studying why smart people do dumb things. Envy, fear of missing out, social proof, authority, rewards, ego. His point was brutal. If you do not understand these forces, they will run your life. You will think you are deciding, but really, you are just reacting. Billionaire level thinking means asking every time, is this really a good decision? Or am I just being pushed by my emotions? Fifth, use checklists. Pilots and surgeons use them because forgetting one obvious step kills people. Charlie believed big money decisions deserve the same respect. Before he said yes, he wanted a slow, boring pass through risk, downside, incentives, character, price, and alternatives. Checklists protect you from your own overconfidence. Sixth, pick the right humans. Charlie's rule was simple: avoid crooks and idiots. Partner with people you trust and admire. Everything compounds from there. Seventh, control envy and ego. Most financial stupidity is emotional flexing, overspending, refusing to admit mistakes. Quiet confidence and modest living are an underrated strategy. Here's the part most people miss. Charlie Munger, the don't be stupid guy, made some huge mistakes. One of the worst was Dexter's shoe. In the early 1990s, Berkshire bought a Maine shoe company using Berkshire stock instead of cash. The business later got crushed by global competition and basically went to zero. Munger and Buffett did not just lose a shoe company. They gave away Berkshire shares that would have been worth billions later. Charlie called it one of the dumbest decisions they ever made. But here is the difference between billionaires and everyone else. Most people hide from their mistakes. Munger dissected his. He turned Dexter into a rule. Don't pay up for a business with a weak or eroding moat. Be very careful when you are paying with your best asset, your own stock. Add big mistakes to the checklist so they never happen the same way twice. Do you do that with your mistakes? Now let's turn this into something you can actually run in your own life. First, map your circle of competence. Write down where you truly understand the game, your industry, specific skills, maybe one or two types of investments. That's your playing field. Outside of it, default to small bets or no bets. Second, build a stupidity checklist. Before any big money or career move, ask yourself these questions. Am I doing this out of FOMO? If this goes badly, am I permanently damaged? Do I really understand how this works? Would I still do this if nobody knew? Third, invert your life. Ask yourself how you would ruin your finances, career, health, and relationships. Write down the answers. Then build habits that make those outcomes harder to bring about. Fourth, add a margin of safety. Maintain a cash buffer. Live a reasonable lifestyle. Keep dumb debt low, and remove any single point of failure. Fifth, upgrade daily. Read, think, review decisions. Become a little wiser every day, like Munger said. Your goal is not to be a genius, it is to be slightly less stupid, consistently, for decades. Charlie built this philosophy in a slower world. Today, everything is weaponized against your patience, including meme stocks, leverage on your phone, influencers, shilling coins, and endless comparison on social media. The cost of one stupid mistake is higher than ever. You can wipe out years of progress with a few taps. That is why Munger's ideas feel almost rebellious now. Think slowly, act rarely, ignore the crowd, and protect the downside. In a noisy world, not being stupid becomes a superpower. You do not need a billionaire IQ. You need billionaire filters to avoid stupidity, protect the downside, and to think a little better than the crowd. So ask yourself, starting this week, what is one stupid risk you are finally going to remove? For more valuable lessons, subscribe to the Billionaire Blueprint.